Now, to kick off today's episode, we need to take it back to my last episode. Unfortunately, a one-man operation is prone to make some mistakes, but the fans of the show thankfully make up for my shortcomings. Trust me, this won't be the last time you guys save my ass. Now, you let me know that I missed a huge match, and I'm honestly shocked I left it off my calendar. This historic match is the Detroit Fight Club hosted Autumn Assault Tournament. Now, what makes this tournament historic is, simply put, this match wouldn't have happened a year ago. At least not on friendly terms. And until someone corrects me in a few days, this is the first tournament that had teams from both ACS and the HMB competing against each other. Now on the ACS side, we have the Executioners, the First Source disguised as the Wheel of Pain, and the Dallas Warlords. And representing HMB was Team Scalagrim, Palmetto Knights, and the home team of Detroit. Now, the tournament had some amazing fights, having all teams fight each other at least once in a round-robin style tournament. The points were awarded by winning rounds and taking the 3-round set. Now, one of the interesting aspects of this fight was that it was the first time a lot of the ACS teams fought under HMB rules. And as you probably guessed, it proved to be a challenge for some of the younger fighters on the ACS side. The ACS do not allow what's called hooking the rail. This is almost exactly how it sounds. It creates a hook that your body can use to either stay alive in a bad spot or gain some leverage for a throw. The ACS fighters used a similar move called chicken wing. This is putting your armpit on the list, forming a V with your elbow, and leaning into the rail. This is allowed in ACS and the ACLW, but placing your arm anywhere underneath that list is considered hooking and will possibly get you sat down. This tournament allowed hooking, so there was an advantage to the HMB clubs. The techniques for using the hook versus the chicken wing is video in itself, but we don't have that kind of time. Putting some X's and O's to this rail theory, we look closely at Charlie Brumfield, one of the Dallas Warlords. We can't see much of the grapple off shot, but we see that he's against the list and with his back on the rail. Generally a good place to be. As another Scalagrim fighter moves in, he's now on a 2-on-1. Immediately he should be shifting his focus to taking down the fighter on his right or improve his position defensively. One way would have been to move that shield to hook the rail, or if he could, wiggle his arm free from that on the right. As the action plays out, we can see that the use of the rail implemented perfectly as the big boy on the left grabs hold of the rail, prepares to grind Charlie down. Luckily, it doesn't prove to be too bad for Charlie, but when backup comes, we can really see how using the list as support can go a long way to winning the fight. Now, everyone who made the trip up for the Warlords is an excellent fighter, but most are not ready to use the list as HMB does. It didn't matter for Team Scalagrim. Hailing from Ontario, this dominant HMB team had a near-perfect day, scoring 25 points. They're going to need all the extra practice they can get as they prepare to help backfill some Ordo Draconis spots in the 12-man bracket at Dynamo Cup. I wish them all the best and can't wait to see what they do at Dynamo Cup. For the full results and highlights, be sure to subscribe and tune back in for a full update. With Team Scalagrim taking the gold, we see the Executioners take a rare silver medal. Before the split within the Armored Combat League, the Executioners were the favorite to win gold year after year. There were only a few of the main lineup fighters missing, but this was very much a full Executioners team. On October 19th, as I'm sure everyone on this channel knows, we had the pleasure of streaming the Atlantic Longsword Tournament. This tournament had some familiar faces to the channel, including the back-to-night John Hall from Pittsburgh, Mike Lewis from the Knights Hall, Alessandro Gill from Sword Class New York, and the winner of that night, Mikey Johnson from the Knights Hall. The night had some great highlights and some even bigger upsets. The tournament was a double elimination bracket with a winner's bracket and a redemption bracket, pitting the winner of both brackets against each other at the end for that prize money. Now, the early matches of the tournament played out largely as you'd expect, no major upsets. The action really started to pick up when Alex met Mikey early in the night. In the first round, the score was 19-18, with Alex picking up the first round. Mikey then answered with a reminder of why he was the number 1 seed. He took the final 2 rounds and advanced on. When later asked about the fight against Alex, Mikey had this to say.
What really took me off guard was Alex. I was not prepared for anything like that.
Now, this is the point that the redemption bracket really got interesting. Mikey secured his spot in the final match, leaving the redemption bracket sprinting to that final round. Damien squared off with John Hall, winning a close match 2-0. Then Damien and Alex tested their gas tanks for a spot in the finals against Mikey. And in an upset, the number 5 seed Damien defeated the number 3 seed Alex. Now, not wanting a repeat of that round 1 against Alex, Mikey dialed it in and won the finals 2-0, bringing home that gold and winning the prize money. Now, if you're interested in watching the whole event with commentary by myself and Sam Vacation Jensen, the entire event is on this channel and is open for everyone to view. Now, on the 26th, that was a busy day, holding both War in the North and Blood and Steel 3. Blood and Steel was a tournament once again taking us to the Northeast, and our Knights Hall boys bashing each other over the head once again. Facing off against the headsmen in 10-on-10 action, we can see some great techniques implemented by the executioners. One of which was an unanswered penetration into the backfield. On a few occasions, the headsmen pressed the field and left a lot of ground behind them open for exploitation. If you give the executioners an inch, they'll take a body or 4. This ultimately became the trend as the headsmen could not rotate their assignments quite like the executioners could. Fighters like Ringo and Durante constantly switched targets and made the headsmen really have to swivel, left them open for a lot of attacks. One of the fighters that really turned some head and did a great job in the role of initiator was Chuck Vallis, making his way into the backfield on multiple occasions and even winning the headsman their only round of the day. He was a solid addition and an asset to that headsman lineup. Cat Brooks on the executioners had himself a great day. He is defining himself more and more in these larger battles. Primarily known for being an exceptional grappler in the smaller chapter matches, he has an impressive swing with that halberd. Now, these massive blows do a great job, forcing the enemy to come in and close in, trying to avoid those huge strikes. Now, unfortunately, then you have to deal with Cat up close, which is no easy task. The executioners won the tournament that day quite handedly. For the women, we had the Salem Witches going against the Mastiffs, some 3-on-3 action. Now, unfortunately, because of the 3-on-3 format, the fighting really became very grapple happy. Don't get me wrong, this is unavoidable in the sport, but with this much space in the list, the 3-on-3 format just tends to be a lot of hugging and grappling. Marie showed a lot of great movement in the list and really some good striking. And I know we're all looking forward to see her continue her brutal onset and trying out for the IMCF women's team. The War in the North was also on the 26th, and it did not fail to put on a good show for the crowd. Composed of the Dallas Warlords, the Twin City Wyverns, the Kansas City Serpents, and the Chicago Fight Club. Now, unfortunately, Chicago had to forfeit their rounds due to injury, and you always hate to see a team go out because of that. But the final standings had the Warlords taking home the gold, making the home team Wyverns take the silver. And although a fairly new team in regards to some of the more established regions, the Wyverns had some hard hits, particularly this 2-shot that made nearly everyone in the stands and the list cringe. I'm glad to report that both are a little rattled, but they're fine. Looking ahead in the calendar, November is absolutely packed. Seriously, pause the video and go take a piss. This is gonna take a hot minute. Now, the big ticket item event a few days from now is Dynamo Cup on November 2nd. Now, Dynamo Cup is one of the premier tournaments in the WMCF League, inviting only the most elite teams in the world to participate. The United States will be sending Ordo Draconis to Moscow to bring home that gold. Now, on screen now, we have the draw for Dynamo Cup. Now, unfortunately, the U.S. is not sending a women's team into that bracket this year, but we're hoping to send one next year. Looking at the men's 12-on-12, the very old friends will be representing a combined North American alliance. I had a chance to speak with the team captain, Makoto Mason, about his new club and exactly where the name came from. We went with very old friends because we've known them since the beginning of the sport, and half the team are old dudes. Seems like a staple for American fighters. Who knows, maybe Cialis or Raisin Bran will sponsor our next tournament. And rounding out the 5-man team is a truly impressive lineup. Looking at the pool that Ordo must compete against, the competition looks rough. In particular, Team Bearpaw may prove to be a rough opponent. Captain Ordo does not seem to be worried, though, as he sees his team of MVPs able to handle any team they face in the list. To put it perfectly, Makoto has one message for the other teams. We're not trapped in the bracket with you. You're trapped in here with us. Now, next weekend, we have an awesome tournament in Las Vegas, the Metal Mosh and Melee Tournament. The registration for this event is absolutely stacked and it is a who's who of West Coast fighters. Consisting mostly of Ordo and Ursus fighters, this polearm tournament is going to break some necks and slam some faces. And if any still remain, then they have a show of some great metal bands to keep that noise up. Now on the line, the top prize in the singles tournament is a full kit by GS Studios. Now other sponsors feature some of the titans of the armored combat spectrum, like Bohurt Tech and Medieval Extreme. And you know they're going to be handing out axes and maces like it's candy to some of these amazing fighters. Tickets are still on sale, and anyone in the area should already have tickets. And if you have some travel money burning a hole in your pocket, this is the event to see. Now, the next weekend on the 15th, we have the ACS Central Conference Tournament. With $2,500 of prize money on the line, the action will be intense to say the least. Now, here's the part that this Jew loves, the cash prizes. $1,000 to the winner of the 10s, $500 to the men's 5, $300 to the women's 5s, $100 to each singles category. I mean, holy hell, the purse on the line. I always love seeing these great fighters get paid. You know that you can find the event in the description down below and on Facebook. Register to be part of this and be sure to keep up with any information to come. Finally, rounding out this crazy month is the ACLW's National Championship in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This 2-day card will be a who's who of ACLW, including History Channel's favorites like Bill Bam Bam Woodbury and Simon Rorick. Now, last year, Tulsa turned some heads this time of year and established themselves as one of the fastest growing teams in the old school ACL. If you're in the area, be sure to grab some tickets while they're still available and see great teams like the Orlando Black Knights, Tulsa Tyrants, LA Golden Knights, and of course the Phoenix Blood Eagles. Now say a prayer for my relationship because I'm pretty sure my fiance is going to kick my ass with all these events I'm going to have to cover. Tune in next month for either my eulogy or for another list report, where I'll be sure to review these events and keep you up to speed with the crazy calendar of US Bohurt. Likes are always welcome. Subscriptions make me feel like I'm whole inside, and click that bell so I can feel some sweet, sweet love. My name's Ben Sugarman, and I need to go lay down. Stay safe, y'all.